Welcome to Emancipated Studio. Welcome my uncle, Uncle Stew, the old man on the block.
Salute, 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 salute. I just want y'all to know I hope that y'all are having a positive and blessed good evening. But I know that the YouTube streets has been on fire today because trust me, I was getting bells and whistles almost at 7 o'clock this morning dealing with the fresh and fit Tommy Sotomayor and this other woman. So I have had to be reading, studying, watching videos all day. So I want each and every single one of y'all to know that I will address the issue tomorrow. So I need you to know that I've been hearing commentary from Courtney Michelle, who was hanging out with Kwame Brown. I've been listening to D. Mashawn, who's got the commentary in the morning. I've been listening to Edward Anderson, who spoke on this. Then, as you know, my guest tonight spoke on this. So guess what? It is time that I step up and I'm going to speak on this. But I think the perspective I'm going to give you may shock you. So you make sure you see my Q&A tomorrow, where I will address this issue with all boldness. Just to give you a little sugar, how do you like your image now? That's going to be the key. How you like your image now? Men, how you like your image? Women, how you like your image? And that's all I'm going to say on that note. Now, let me give a shout out to the chat. Of course, my moderator, Wally, to my niece, I am Courtney Michelle, and to the one and only, when I don't want to be here, I got to go get a substitute teacher, to Maggie, the substitute teacher. I just want y'all to know I got a whole lot of titles. So you can't get to this woman without coming through me. And that is the one and only OG Patrice is in the house. And then, of course, Stephen Day is in the house. And I want y'all to know Brown Eyes is listening in the back, but she is at work. So she will be here to hear this live, but she is listening at her job. And then the one and only Karen. Hello, and salute to Miss Mills is in the house. So I want all of y'all to say thank you, because you could have been anywhere on these YouTube streets, but you came here tonight to hang out with your uncle. Appreciate you. But tonight, it's not about me. Tonight, it is about the one and only the Randolph family. And normally, I would give this elaborate introduction, but I believe tonight they need no introduction, because love is going to be in the air tonight. Knowledge is going to be in the air tonight. Wisdom is going to be in the air tonight. And if some of you women who might be over that 45-year mark think that is over, baby, my God said it ain't over until he say it's over. And so tonight you're going to see when God say, who I put together, let no one bring asunder. You're going to now see that manifested. When I say to you that a good man will find the good wife, you're going to see the man that found the good wife, and you're going to hear from the good man. So for all you ladies who say, we can't find no good black men, the devil is a liar, because he's in the back with his number one wife. So ladies and gentlemen, Put that hands together for the Randolph family. What's going on? What's going on? Now, I want y'all to do me a favor, because, see, I done seen this twice. When Mr. Randolph start talking, if y'all see my sister, my old sister about 2 months, start blushing, y'all just throw that one in the chat, because she will glow like it ain't notable. Look, ain't she glowing, y'all? Ain't she glowing? Look like a little kid. I don't believe she older than me. I'm 54. She looking like she a 25-year-old coming out of that college classroom. Look at her, y'all. Red lipstick vibes. Red lipstick. Yes, right. Love glow. Red lipstick just had a video talking about the good black men. Red lipstick. Meet the good black man. How is the Randolph family doing tonight?
Hello, doing good. I'm glad to be here. It's
Yes,
another
sir.
day that the Lord has made. I'm glad about it.
Amen, amen, amen. Well, I got to ask you, Mr. Randolph, because we always hear your name, at least on this side. We always hear your name. We always hear about you. And unless everybody go across town to go see my big sister, they don't get a chance to see you. So tell us, us brothers, how did you meet that woman right there?
Well, it was about 3 years, a little over 3 years ago. It was only maybe about 6 miles between us. And
Okay.
I came across her on a dating site and saw that smile and saw that face. And I said, save. I didn't say anything to her.
I
But,
like that.
well, after reading her profile, I thought, this woman is, she wouldn't be interested in just an average guy like me. So I just pressed the save button, and
Okay.
just kept on strolling and, just, and that's how we met basically on a dating site. And it took off from there, man. Uh, it just took off from there, and we just been rolling like a rolling stone since then. No looking back and no doubts, no regrets. It just spiraled from there.
Awesome. You said that you just put her on save because you defined yourself, at least at that time, as an average man. What made her appear to be, let's say, more than an average woman, that you saw yourself as an average man?
Well, she was well accomplished, uh, uh, military woman, retired, and uh, educated woman, beautiful, uh, uh, and I don't know, man. I'm just a blue collar guy,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't think she would be interested, so I just kept her saved, and apparently she's seen it and took the initiative.
Okay.
And so when she took the initiative, uh, that told me she was interested. So I took it and rolled with it. So I was wrong in my assumption.
But was you wrong, or is it all of our male assumptions, in the sense of most women who have college degrees, and then we don't have, say average male may not have that college degree. Um, would you say that's really sometimes the image that's put out there, and we're just going along? I'm gonna use a Kwame Brown statement. We just go along to get along, because that could just be the image. It's not that we're bad men.
Well, let me go back. It wasn't so
Sure.
much that it was uh, the specific industry that I'm in is stigmatized. I,
Mm.
I drive a tractor trailer,
Okay.
And some people make assumptions about uh, guys that drive a tractor trailer, a truck, 18
Okay.
wheeler, big rig.
Right.
We got a lot of women, and I'm just telling you what I've been told.
No, no, no.
Of
You're
course,
fine.
uh, you know, you're good looking. You got to have a lot of women. You've been a lot of places. So that's what I thought. I would get from her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, uh,
And
Well,
one
let
thing
me.
I will
Sure.
say to his point, when we did start dating, the couple friends that I did tell, even my daughter at first said, well, truck drivers had a bad reputation because a family member of hers, was an uncle of hers, was a truck driver, and unfortunately it didn't do well with his marriage. So again, so it was not unfounded, because again, the few friends and a couple of family members that I told early on did have that perception
Right.
without even having met him. Okay. But again, like you said, the reputation of men in that industry, because there have been a couple of times, even on my show, they say, well, they'll say, well, TJ think he don't have nobody else, but truck drivers have somebody else. So it still goes on, but fortunately, I don't give a damn. So, but yeah.
Well, let me say this. If anybody don't recognize today, you are just as vital and just as important as those nurses and those doctors on the front line. If they didn't recognize how important truck drivers are, ask them about trying to get some toilet paper. Ask them about how it's like trying to get food up in here. If they don't recognize your work and the value that you are to America, to this industry, then they don't know what they're talking about. So I
oh
want
yeah,
to thank you very much
yeah,
to make
yeah.
sure that we're getting our supplies. Being prior military, what do they say? You go after the supply. You make sure there's two people you respect. You respect the mess sergeant and you respect the supply sergeant. Because if them two don't like you, you're gonna be in trouble. And so you will be equal in the military as our supply sergeant. So I salute you, sir.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed not only doing it, this particular job, but I enjoyed doing it at a high level. Not only just truck drivers, everyone in the transportation, the airline pilots, the railroad conductors, and just everyone that keep things moving, goods, people, whatever it is, bus drivers, because as we see in Canada,
Oh yeah.
uh, that that place is. I don't see how they're gonna make it if things don't get back rolling the way it is. But it's definitely a job that is needed, and I do it at a high level, professional level, safe level. 'Cause I just want everybody to know that not all of us are driving crazy, cutting people off, driving too close to people. Just a big hazard, and that's I love it, man. I love it. I love doing it, and I love doing it at a high level.
How long have you been driving, if you don't mind me asking?
No, uh, 32 years.
Wow. Wow.
32 years.
That is awesome. Let me give you the hand clap. That is awesome. You don't, you don't see people driving and doing any type of job for over 30 years now. It's like they 15 and they gone.
Well, yeah, that's it. Without a doubt, you could say that's been my career. Uh, and well, it took me a while to finally figure out what I was doing and get things done, doing it right. But thanks to God, uh, I got through those uh, rookie years, those greenhorn years, safely, and and we're going to keep doing it as long as we can.
Sounds good to me. But how do you feel, or how do you think about having a now world famous YouTuber wife? Once you get over that 1,000 subscriber mark, you in the real YouTube game now.
Well, I see. I see that she enjoys doing it, and anything she enjoys doing it and happy about, I'm happy with her, and I'm glad she seems like she's natural at it. As you see, I'm sweating bricks here. So I'm glad she liked these YouTube streets. I'm glad you like them because everybody have their certain act, and you two seem to you two doing good. Yeah. So,
Trust me, I got enough test matches when I go off. So she made sure I'm on point.
oh yeah, really? Oh.
I'm the big sister by 2 months. I'm the big
That's
sister
right, by 2 months.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make sure that I don't keep you in the hot seat so that you can cool off. And because if anything happen to you, she know where I stay, so I'm gonna be in big trouble.
You know, it's funny because when we started dating, we, you know, as we talked about, we met online, and I think when we talk about just being intentional, right?
Mhm.
And again, I think it's different because we were both in our 50s and we both had been married before. Our kids were grown. We pretty much knew what we wanted and we were very vocal about that. But we decided early on that, you know, once there was a connection between the two of us, we agreed that we were going to come off these channels, off the offline, because we didn't even want the distractions of, you know, other people trying to vie for our attention. So once we decided that we had made a connection, we both agreed that we would just focus on each other.
Excuse me. Yeah.
I'm gonna speak it to both of y'all, but either one is free to answer. When I was out there in that dating world, I found so many people who really didn't know what they wanted. Women who they say they knew they wanted, but their actions, everything about them was not ready. If I'm trying to be nice. What was the process? Go ahead. Yeah, there you go. Speak on it.
Well,
on this channel, I don't do it. You just speak your mind.
Well, it was my experience. A lot of them did know exactly what they wanted, and it was different than what I thought and would expect from a woman of middle age category. And so I was very fortunate when Terry and I started talking and conversating and dating. She was a very mature woman, very direct woman, very honest woman, very forthright woman. And I just saw, other than, you know, just her outer beauty, I saw just a pleasant spirit. She wasn't about the foolishness. That's what I was having experience. A lot of foolishness, a lot of the 50 and up, because that's what I was dealing with.
Right.
They wanted to have fun. Most of them, or they wanted to bypass some of the courtship process, the normal courtship process, and get down to it.
I'm glad you said it. So let me speak my experience, and then you tell me, are we on the same page? Mm-hmm. I want everybody in the chat to understand we live in two totally different states, two totally different time zones. So what I'm getting ready to say is going to be in my state and my time zone. What he says is going to be in his state, his time zone. Sir, what I saw when I say to you, they didn't know what they want. I'm talking about in the sense of when I got back out in the dating world, um, the women was a whole lot freer than I ever remembered back in high school. I could not find my brown eyes is gonna love this. I couldn't find my LL around the way girl because she was not the lay around the way girl. Couldn't.
Mm.
Oh yeah, they better understand the difference. And what I was finding was I didn't even need to take him out to dinner. As long as I had a job, a place to stay, and a car, I can have anybody I wanted within 2 hours.
Are we talking about sexually?
Yes.
Oh, is that what your experience was?
Uh, not, uh, not, not like that, but it was pretty much clear it wasn't gonna. We weren't going to work. Do the Steve Harvey rule. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, that try 90 minutes over the 90 days. I,
Yeah.
I, I only bring that out because I think it's a misnomer, or at least from my observation and from hearing, it is a misnomer of what the real woman looks like and what real men are really looking for. That not all of us is looking for what they claim we're looking for. We're looking for the wife. And both of you was ready. And so when I say not ready, my other experience was I found too many women who was still hurting from past relationships, hurting from men that they chose. And when you tried to bring that out to say, "Hey, you're not ready for me. I've already done all the foolish stuff I can do in my 20s. I've raised my kids. I'm kind of on a focus level and I'm not out here to play games. I'm ready to settle and move on." But I found a lot was still working or not working on past issues. Did you see that as well?
Yes. Yes. Um, I was going to say also, I think because of the competitiveness of a lot of the women, I think maybe they might have felt they had to move a little faster than they wanted to go. Because we talking about 50 to the 60 age range,
Right.
and I think that could have been a lot of it. Maybe I need to lock this guy in and show him the goods as soon as possible before he, get find interest elsewhere. But I remember the first time I FaceTimed Terry, unannounced and unexpectedly. The first thing she said when she answered the phone, which also gave me the green light to go strong after this woman because I know she wasn't about the foolishness. She said, "Are you decent?" I said to myself, "Thank God." Because when she asked that question, that let me know she wasn't about the foolishness.
Baby, you can Karen get closer because
Yeah.
okay.
So,
You remember that?
oh yeah, I remembered it because that was because that was a key decision making process for me. Uh, because I already had been through other FaceTimes and know what was going on. So when you said that, I knew you wasn't about the foolishness and about the you know uh, jumping in the bed, type of stuff. So um, yeah, man, I think the competitive nature of a lot of the women have and think they have to do certain things and because of the numbers issues with the men ratio to women, I think
Mhm.
maybe that's a lot of what's going on. Doing things and saying things they wouldn't normally say. Trying to lock guys in.
Well, let me go ahead and interject also. In these YouTube spaces, and you and I have talked about it, and now you know that it's not just women that are our age. So of course, if it's women our age doing it, you can only imagine what the younger women are doing.
Mhm.
So, but you have men and some women, but men in these spaces that are saying, you better lock it down with the P because it is so competitive. After the third date, you should be giving it up. So they're hearing that, you know, and so, like you said, women think, well, maybe I need to lock it down because if the women are thinking that in our age group, you
Mhm.
know, it's far more competitive in the younger, in the younger years. So that's these messages are coming from both sides.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I talk, I when I get messages coming off of YouTube, I actually go and speak to people that's not on YouTube, and I ask them these questions just to see, is this a YouTube thing? Is that me that's echoing?
I don't hear
Um,
echo.
okay. I actually asked them, and a lot of the same stuff that's being said on YouTube is being said by the 20s something generation. So, when they're talking about relationship issues or they're talking about women, echoing the same thing. Um, what do you think we got to do to either change the narrative, or is for certain parts of our demographics, is it too late?
Well, me personally, I've always uh, did it by leading by example. You know, starting from your home, your family, and it expands. From my son, my two son-in-laws, my son. I want to be an example to them, my daughters, my granddaughters. Every time they see me, hear me, uh, they're going to get something positive. And it starts. I think that's a good place to start. Now, people that's already, you know, that's going to be a challenge. But even when I'm out in public, or when we out in public, uh, just don't accept certain things that are said and done. You know, just don't accept it, and I think that's the way to go to try to bring about some change of certain behavior, like this, like we're talking about it right now, and
Hmm.
no matter how many people getting to see it, somebody's going to tell somebody else who saw this.
Right.
And it goes to what we did earlier. Well, what I did earlier, I was talking about, and I think you're going to speak about it tomorrow. You
More.
said,
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
was focusing on, I did a live earlier today about reclaiming the Black female image because part of that is how we present ourselves to the world. So if I was to our first date and even subsequent dates was to have, wrapped her nails, lashes out, like you said, like peacocks, you know, wearing something that I would not consider to be ladylike, titties out, all that kind of stuff. That sends a message that I didn't want to send. So if I presented that to you, you would make certain assumptions about me. That it wouldn't be right, but it doesn't make it untrue. So I have to try to be the example or help, be the example that I want to see in the world, that some people may not have had those type of influences around them. So that's why I do what I do. Because again, that's how we change the course, but it's not going to be overnight. And I was saying earlier today that some of these women who are, let's say, 30 and under, all they have seen is ratchetness. Because when we think about this hip hop culture that has really gone down over the past 20 years, you don't see the women of style and grace and class. You see the ratchet, loud, boisterous, attitudinal behaviors. And so that's hard to show them something else when they've never seen anything else. But again, I'm still going to try.
Same here. I just want you to know you are a leader, and I'm gonna tell you the inside joke on this leadership. XDMC says, "What if you're a fine, talented, good-looking brother like myself, and the women are just coming to you all at once? How do you choose?" Oh, wait, never mind. My wife is coming. Gotta go. But you are a great leader. And let me tell you why you're a great leader. So I have to laugh. I've already said I got to get you and El Guapo because both of y'all got y'all wives a house with nice little fireplace. Now I got to go out here this year and go get a house with a fireplace. Then you just got finished saying, well, you know, I'm a grandfather. Now I'm about to be a grandfather this year as well. So you gotta put a brother up on this so I can be prepared before you go leading somewhere. You know, so I'm noticing that pattern.
Yeah, man, we got responsibilities. We got to leave a legacy. You know?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on your first grandchild.
Thank you.
And, yeah, I got 4 of them, and I'm glad there's going to be somebody else to replace me and us. You know, I think that's a blessing because we're not going to be here forever, but our footprint will be here some kind of way.
Yeah, what a joke. They was over here yesterday. We was all hanging out at night, and she said, "Well, y'all know when y'all get a house, you got to get another bedroom so the grandchild had." I said, "Wait." I said, "Now, I said y'all can bring them over, and when y'all leave, they leave." It was like, "Nah, you ain't gonna get it like that." So now we gotta go get an extra room to handle the extra child. And I said to Ray, I said, "Now I told you, we raised them up. They out the house. How do we keep getting them back? They're not supposed to come back. They're supposed to go."
Well, you don't have to do that right away. You can get a blow up bed for right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now get me through for a little while, right?
Yeah.
Well, I have a question.
Sure.
So, what do you all gentlemen say? And I think I mixed my words up. So, it's even more competitive when you get older. So, like, 40 and up, because we're older, and we're not only competing with the women in our age group, we're competing with younger women too. So, what do you say to those women who think or are being told after, by the third date, you should be giving it up?
Well, me myself, and I'm sure Uncle Stew have this feeling too. I'm 57. I know what breasts look like. I know what a nice butt look like. I know what a nice hips look like. So you're not going to impress me with it. I can size you up in 15 seconds. So
do me a favor. I need you to repeat that one more time because they think we dumb. Repeat that one more time. They didn't hear you in the back. You might need to turn the microphone up. You can size her in how long?
15 seconds.
All right. I want every woman in this chat to understand Uncle Stu can do it too. You can come up here and play around. I'm going to call you out. You're going to get mad when I call you out because I can do it too. Uh-oh. She said, uh-oh, bye. But yes, I'm glad you said that.
So all of those physical features that we like in a woman, they are nice, but it's not the most important thing. Not for a mature middle-aged man, in my opinion. I notice I'm not speaking for everybody, because everybody have different mindset. But those things were impressive to me when I was 25, 19, 20, 30. But you've, I mean, you've seen it. You know, how much, it's, you've seen it a million times. So that's not, it's still delightful, but it's not the most important thing. What's the most important thing is integrity. Uh, that's the most important thing. And you can spot that just as quick as you can spot the physical features. So all of that's nice to look at, but we don't need to see or do everything, in right off the bat. We not, that's not the most important thing. It's nice, but we want the heart and mind, someone that's going to be with you when you're uh, not your best and not doing your best, someone that's not into all of that cardinal stuff, carnality and physicalness and physicality. So, you know, um, I know we as men, that's the first thing we see, that's just the way it is. And, but that's not the most important thing.
For me, I am very bold. I am what's known as a sapiosexual, which simply means that if I'm not attracted to your mind, I don't care what your body look like. And I remember an incident where doing the online stuff, and in my profile it says I'm a sapiosexual. Well, I had a woman who came in and she just sent me this whole paragraph blasting me out. Why are you men always talking about sex? Da, 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 da. And I said, I said, did you pick that part up because I said I'm a sapiosexual? She said, yes. I said, do me a favor. Why don't you go look that word up and then come back to me? She looked the word up, apologized. She says, is it too late? I said, yeah, because if you ain't smart enough to Google a word that you didn't know, you ain't smart enough to be with me.
In your face.
Yeah. 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 Just that simple. You if you can't do that, you can't be with me. I say to women, I just want to get y'all view. I hear a lot of women conversation. This is in the dating world. And when I say they don't realize that they say a whole lot within 15 minutes, that I can literally tell you if you're healed, if you're hurting, if you're coming in with prejudice, or if you're trying to make me pay for the issues and the pains that you had from other men. And I always say, a real man ain't going to pay for what other men did or did not do. And I found a lot of women either A, wanted me to pay for the pains of their past errors, whether it was economics, or they'll even say to me, well, I want a man, but I got trust issues. I say, well, then you're not ready for a man.
Yeah. They'll bring that into the conversation, and sometimes it's in their profile. Um, so it's a difficult thing to navigate, and try to convince. Well, hey, I'm not that guy, because until you make some effort to try to convince them of that, they're going to assume that you're that guy. Just the fact that you hold a toilet seat up, so. Uh, but that is definitely an uphill battle with some making assumptions based on past history, and I'm so grateful because all of us have a history. And my
Yeah.
wife had one, but she didn't make that assumption. I guess she saw something, something clued in about me, but she wasn't going to let her past relationship interfere with us.
I'm going to take a little bit deeper because she always knows I always say this, and her buddy Ray is always getting on me because I'm supposed to make this one particular content. I ain't made it yet, so that's my slothfulness. She heard TJ on the platform talking about you, and she said for the first time, TJ felt she can finally be in her feminine. She can finally be. She didn't have to worry about nothing being, she could be totally her. And the day she made that confession, Ray made the same statement. Of course, I'm a little ignorant. It was like, yo, you gotta go deeper because I just heard TJ. I don't know what, so but for you and to teach men how to do it. How do you secure a woman who still has a little bit of a wall up and to be genuine? Because a lot of our brothers would run away.
Mm-hmm.
But a man like yourself, and I boldly say it, I didn't run away because I didn't really see it as paying for somebody's past. I saw it as a woman who, in the moment, had to be, quote unquote, using a masculine energy. But I was able just to come and talk and communicate and show by example. And I'm presuming you're that kind of man. How do we get our brothers to, for those that are not on that level, they're in the middle, they want to be on that level. How do we get them to get to that level?
Well, it's simple. I think first off is being understanding, honest, be a good listener, and I will also say it's not very difficult for me because I'm a gentle person. Even though I've been a football player in high school and college, I'm just a different person outside of that. So understanding, a lot of caring, and because if you are serious about a person or your lady, and you are not playing games because she's already been through some game playing, you're going to have to be understanding and be yourself, be honest, and take her in a totally different direction. And she's going to trust you. She's going to feel that. She's going to trust that, and she's just going to let loose.
I want to talk to the 35 and under. I made a statement, and this is no longer a talking point because I talked to 23, 25, 26, 27-year-old males. And these ain't no, I'm standing on the corner type males. A lot of them say the women of our generation is no longer in their generation. They're not there. Meaning,
Okay.
and this ain't a talking point, they're saying the women has totally changed. It's all about the money. It's all about everything but what you and I as older men would talk about. Have you experienced when you, let's say, talk, and I'm saying 35 and under, because that's where I'll hear the biggest resistance of how you and I is talking?
Well, excuse me. I don't. I see that on these videos, and it seems like. Well, I'll just tell you what I think. I think I see what you're talking about on videos. I don't see it out personally. Even though my daughters are up in that age range, but they're married and got a good head on their shoulders. But
Mm-hmm.
I think what could be going on is they're insecure and they think money is going to give them that. So we're gonna get it by any means necessary, or do what we think we need to do to secure this money, this purse, or whatever. Um, uh, by any means necessary, and I think that's what's going on. Uh, that's I think that's the core issue: the money and the insecurity. Uh, if we're not going to be able to, or we think maybe, well, my chances of getting married and having a family is very low. So I'm going to take care of myself uh, at any cost and do what I need to do, even if it's not the right thing to do.
Can I go ahead and also interject too? And
Yes, please.
to that point, from some of the things that I've seen, and again, I'm very fortunate that I don't interact with a lot of women well, any women this way, quite frankly. But even my daughter has talked about that some of the ladies, well, women that she knows in her age group are really about well, he's got to make this kind of money and he needs to be able to take me here and all these kinds of things, not even talking about the character of the individual. It's about what they can do for them. And again, if you have someone, a man that buys you a card and sends you a flower, they think that is kind of weak and simpish, not knowing that is the kind of thing you actually want. Someone to be thoughtful, because again, we talked about the other day, it used to be the thought that counts. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that anymore. It's how much you spend that counts. And I have said it on numerous platforms. Our first date was a dinner and a movie, but it was one of the most memorable nights. And again, if I would have been so shallow as to say, well, you need to take me here, that is just that's almost like being how shall I say, you almost prostituting yourself. I'm just saying,
But it
to
is.
the highest bidder. But again, you're missing the important piece here. You're looking at the superficial, and again, the man who you know gives you a flower, who sends you a card, or that's the kind of man you want.
I think also, Stu, I may be wrong, but I think it goes back to that competitiveness what I was talking about earlier. Even you even have you've heard this, some couples or some families, they see one family uh, with a 2,000 square foot home, two bathrooms. Well, I got to get a 2,300 square foot home and a third bathroom. So some of these women may see their girlfriends with a nice, I don't know, purse. I don't know what they call it, these purses, Louis Vuitton. Well, I need to get something better than that.
Yeah, that's that Birkin bag stuff.
Yeah, I need her man bought her a Mercedes. Mine need to buy me a Lamborghini. Come on, that's the least he can do. Yeah,
So we're into the Joneses
yeah,
type stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it goes to the singleness too. So gotta have it.
We hear the word accountability often on these YouTube streets, but I've heard it all my life. Things to be accountable for. There's two arguments I already apologized for one of these things, but I just got to bring the argument to you. They want us to be held accountable for how they're living now.
Hold on. What he means by that
Oh, I'm
is,
sorry.
yeah, the younger generation specifically, we are Generation X, okay, our age group. Our children's generation is the millennials. So many millennials believe that our generation, Gen X, and our parents' generation, baby boomers, have messed up the society for them, and that we dropped the ball, and we should be held accountable for all the things that we did to mess up the society for them to have to clean it up.
Let me
I got
add icing. Yeah, let me add icing on to that. All of them baby boomers that sat in front of them dogs and hoses and all that stuff, they were stupid. I'm gonna give it to you in the very language. They was dumb, and this generation would not do what they did.
Would not take it.
Will not take it.
Well, I believe every man, woman, boy, girl have to be accountable for their own actions. I do agree with their assertion to a small degree, uh, because I think a lot of what we were doing, spending a lot of time getting that paper, try to make things better for them than it was for us, instead of putting in the time. And I'm guilty of it. I wish I should have spent more time, but I can't. You can't unscramble an egg, so I'm not going to relive history, keep dwelling on it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had it all over to do, I would spend more. Would have wished I could have spent more time. Just made that as a priority. Even though my kids, for the most part, okay, well rounded, but it's not like that for everyone, because everybody is different. Every family is different. But I think could have been it could be like this for a lot of families, especially for the man, because the man is the backbone. He's the leader, and if that time is not spent, cause I've told Terry a bunch of times, uh, if my dad, Lawrence Senior, at 6'4", didn't do the things he would have done, to me, I could have easily been in prison. It would have gone a long way, because I was out there and could have been out there more in those New Orleans streets. Teenage boy, very big, strong. If I didn't have that cushion that he provided, I would have just gone a whole nother direction. But because he was firm and very firm, uh, I had to back away from it. And I'm grateful for it. I didn't like it at the time, but I'm grateful for it.
Well, mine was a police officer, so and he wasn't going to use no badge to get me out of no jail. And then my cousins were correction officers, so I was in trouble either direction I went.
Mm-hmm.
How do we fix it? If we admittedly hold ourselves accountable, how do we fix it?
That's a good
Or what would
question.
be a good suggestion to fix it?
Well, I always say there's no time like the present. Uh, my youngest is 20, and when I see him and talk to him, I try to leave an impression on him. Uh, Even though I didn't spend the time with him back when he was younger, but and I think God always give us. And I'm talking about us. I'm talking specifically as men, another opportunity, because I have a grandson, I have granddaughters. I think he gives us another opportunity when we screw things up with the children. we have an opportunity to make it up with the grandchildren. So I think that's a positive start, because you can't undo some things. You can only play the card that you dealt with and play it as best you can. So that would be my suggestion.
I'm gonna tell you, I 100% agree. Having multiple of kids, one that's now 35, the other one 23.
Mm-hmm.
They always say that each child you get better as a parent. I think they even showed a commercial where first child you so overly protective. By the time you get to the second and third, it's like, look, just go and do this. But I totally agree with you on you deal with the grandchildren, because you're much older, you're much wiser. You don't have to be out there working. I mean, for me, I was raised more by the grandchild, and that was awesome. That was awesome. So now, what I'm going to do is, because I have had the Randolph family, and they are family, and we're going to keep them a family. So I am going to say thank y'all so much.
Yes, sir.
So much. I'm going to keep the chat open, for anybody that just want to come and just talk to Uncle Stew. And we will definitely have the Randolph family back.
Uncle Stew,
Yeah.
I see a question from Randy Klein's Kleindent. He says, feedback for the step parent to parent child. What do you think about that?
What?
Huh?
He said, what's your feedback for the step parent to stepchild? Like the interaction. Are you talking about the interaction between the step parent and stepchild?
Oh, great! It's great, because if you love the parent, you're naturally going to love the stepchild. Yeah, the.
Well, that's another narrative that that's going on right now.
Oh,
okay.
And this is not going to be a long diatribe, but there are certain men in these spaces, and again, we have to understand that we're much older, so our experience is going to be very different than what theirs are. But they're saying that men should not want to be or date women that have children, because it's no honor or no reward in being a stepfather anymore.
I think that, and the only reason why I wouldn't want you to answer that now, not only for time purposes, there's so many different dynamics that is coming from. You see what I'm saying? Where, say, you and I may be successful, but there is a lot that is not success. So it's like that's a big conversation, and we can always set up a date in the back channel, or we could do it on your channel, TJ. I think it does need to be addressed. I think it needs to almost be semi-panel without everybody yelling and fussing, but it is a big thing. And I'm going to tell you, it's not just YouTube. It really is off, because I had that discussion with Ray as well about dating a woman with children. I originally wasn't going to do that either. So I think it's a bigger discussion. So, Randy, I am not dismissing your question. I am actually going to table it for time purposes, but please email me and make sure that I do address that issue. I think it has a right to be discussed. I really do.
Well, do you have it? I have to make Mr. Randolph his dinner.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is my pleasure,
And I want to thank y'all so much. Got a wealth of knowledge. And look, just to make you smile, Mr. Randolph, you stopped sweating about 35 minutes ago. So you
You see that smile? That's what got me. That when I went to his profile and I saw that smile, like, hey there.
Well, you've been glowing the whole time, so I didn't know if you've been glowing now. Them dimples showing. Them freckles is out. Yeah, them freckles just you did it. You did it. You know, but again, I enjoy hanging out with my big sister by 2 months.
Not too much.
And about 2 months. But I want to thank y'all for coming, for spending some time with me. I think we got a whole lot of information, a whole lot of words. So I want to thank y'all. And I'm
Thanks
about
for
to
having.
start
Thanks
the
for having
chat.
me.
You are welcome. You are welcome. All right. May the peace and the blessing of God go with your family forevermore. In
Same to you,
Jesus'
brother.
Same to you.
name.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Salute to my chat. I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation here tonight. As I said to y'all, I will address the fresh and fit situation. I will address the Tommy Sotomayor situation. That I'm going to address tomorrow. There's a lot that needs to be said, a lot that needs to be heard, and a lot that we need to now elevate our minds. Because whether you like Fresh and Fit, whether you like Tommy Sotomayor, I don't care what side you are on, because this is not about taking sides. This is about our image. This is about our image. This is about what are we really valuing? Because one thing I have learned in this idea of value is that which I do not value, I will destroy. If I don't value you as a person, I will eventually destroy it. If I don't value you as a woman, I will eventually destroy it. If I don't value you as a man, I'm going to eventually destroy it. If I don't value myself, I'm going to end up destroying myself. And I'm going to tell you, I see a whole lot of devaluing going on both sides. And I think that it's time that we begin to elevate our value. First as individuals, then as couples, then as the collective. Because I'm going to tell you, if you're worried about what's going on Fresh and Fit, if you're worried about Tommy Sotomayor, if you're worried about this woman, I think there's a couple of things that we need to be a little bit more worried about. So let me just talk on that for the moment. Nationally speaking, we're getting ready to have a 30% increase in rent value. That means if you're paying $1,000 for rent, you're going to be paying $1,300. There's been a shifting in the housing market. There's a shifting going on in our economic market. There's even a shifting going on in the political market. We have a party that says we want to give you $30 million for crack pipes. The same president that early 90s signed the crime bill that sent many people to prison. It's the same prison that now he wants to give you $30 million for clean crack pipes. I think we got bigger issues on the table, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's time that we really take the deep dive into our own self and ask ourselves, do you want to love me? Yes or no? There is no gray lines anymore. I was paying a bill, and the woman that I paid the bill to wouldn't smile, wouldn't do nothing. And yes, she looked just like me. And the sad part is, a woman that don't look like me smiled and laughed and asked how I was doing. Enough is enough with this hate. Enough is enough with this. I'm gonna hate the black man for whatever sociological reason. I'm gonna hate. We gotta stop. I'm here to help it, but we gotta do something. Because if we don't do something, we're going to be destroyed because we have not learned to value ourselves as a people and individuals. I value you. I tell you each and every day, you are not a number to me. You're a person. You're a human being. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning trying to write content, trying to edit videos, trying to read books to hope and help you because I love you. If no one told you today, Uncle Stew loves you, you're more than a number. You're a person. You have a name. Maybe I'm bad at saying your names, but you are a human being. Whether you call him Jesus, Allah, Buddha, the intelligent one, you was created for a time like this. You are created to be better than this. You are created in love, for love, by the God called love. Therefore, you are love. Maybe some of you didn't grow up with a mother and a father. Maybe some of you didn't grow up rich. Maybe some of you didn't grow up with everything you needed. But what I will tell you is sometimes the very thing you think you don't have makes you the better person that you are. If you didn't have a good father, then damn it, be the good father to your kids. If you didn't have a good mother, then damn it, learn all that you can to be a better mother to your kids. It is time that you abort this foolish history and these foolish ideals that you seem to have. It's time to stop. Because let me help some of you. There are people that want you to stay sick because they're making money off of you. There are people that want you women never to be healed. Why? Because there's organizations out here making money off of you. There's organizations making money off of black men not being successful. They're giving you all the excuses, but never giving you solutions. It's easy to blame the white man. It's easy to blame the white woman. Meanwhile, the very people telling you to blame these people never give you solutions. Do I have all the answers? I don't. But I wake up every day trying to find the answer. You can blame Generation X. You can blame the baby boomers. You can blame the women. You can blame the men. You can blame the white man. You can blame the white woman. But at the end of the day, has it fed you? At the end of the day, has it brought you any more love? If you, I made an apology. It'll be up on this page. But if you never get an apology for all the pain you went through, what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? If the black man never loves you, what you gonna do? If the black woman never loves you, what you gonna do? You know what one of my greatest intellectual friends said? I got to start my business because whether I got a woman or not, I still got to eat. I still got to have a roof over my head. I still got to have clothes. Oh, I know this ain't popular. Why is it not popular? Because I'm going against the narrative of everybody making money off of my people and ain't got a damn solution. All they got is more situations, more problems, and more blaming. Let me tell y'all something. Since nobody want to sit here and talk about, oh, we old people don't know a damn thing. Let me tell y'all what I do know. They told me that I will never make it to this age. That's what them statistics everybody like to run around using. Statistically, I wasn't supposed to make it out the 80s. Statistically, I wasn't supposed to make it out the military. Statistically, I wasn't supposed to be no father. Statistics. Guess what? Uncle Stew beat all the statistics. And you can beat it too. Do you want to be the statistic or do you want to beat the statistic? That's the question of the day. Do you know your reason why when you wake up each and every single day? Why do you want a house? Why do you want that business? Why do you want your home to? When you know and understand your reason why, it ain't going to be nobody that can bring you down. You have a reason to live and you have a reason to fight. Fight for it. No country that is free got it from begging for it. They fought for it. How? They either own businesses and they fought for their economic freedom. They didn't beg for their economic freedom. Now I'm challenging y'all tonight and anybody that see this video after. Are you ready to fight for what is right or do you want to keep making excuses? When them black boys who knew that just to open up their mouth in the South will be hung on a tree. And this happened all the way into the 1970s. Do I need to get the book, 100 Years of Lynching? That's a real book. You need to know the history of it. A black man stepped out of his house and opened up his mouth. He can be hung on a tree in front of his family. So you need to understand that it takes a real person to be able to open their mouth and speak freedom and get beat up for it. Some got hung for it. Some got shot for it. And now we get on platforms and stick our middle finger up to them. That is the most disgusting thing that you could ever say about people in our history. There's a difference between something that's in context and something that's in context. And if you don't know the context of something, go pick up a book and read it, because they told us if you ever want to hide anything from a black man, stick it in a book and put it in his back pocket. And now we're taking those books and we're telling people, you ain't nothing. You garbage. We're telling people who didn't even have the freedom to speak that you ain't crap. And we better than you. I thank God from everybody from the Nation of Islam, the Malcolm X's, Dr. King's, the civil rights movements, people like my father, who lived in both worlds, segregated South and economic racism in the North. But thank God he had the strength, the tenacity, the fight, and the will to not only be my father, but to put me in a great economic society. My father perfect? No, he wasn't. Was my mother perfect? No, she wasn't. But you know what? At the end, they was the most perfect people I can ever thank God for. Because I could have been without them. I could have been in places and situations that some of my friends end up being in. And I'm not going to spit on my father. I'm not going to spit on my mother. Because by the grace of God, I am still here, breathing and alive. They could have dismantled me in the womb. They could have got rid of me in the womb. I think we forget. We heard Mr. Randolph talk about he wished he would have had more time. So a whole lot of us that wish we would have had time. Some of us had to put food on the table, put some clothes on y'all back, take crap from people that we didn't want to take crap from just to bring food home. I don't care if it was your mama or your daddy or both. And now we tell them that they ain't crap. Kind of painful. Kind of painful. But again, do I apologize that some of you didn't have a father and a mother? Apologize. And I mean that. I'm sorry that y'all didn't grow up that way. I am sorry. Very sorry. I'm very sorry that a lot of us didn't grow up the same way. I'm sorry. But the question of the day, question tonight, is what are we going to do about it? Are we going to sit around and cry about it? Or are we going to finally pick up the bootstraps, tie it up, make it work and make it happen to get to the finish line? I wake up every day. You are my reason why. Because I want the best for you. I want the best for my women. I want the best for my brothers. You're the reason why I get up every single day. It's because I love you beyond measure. It is because I want the best for you. I always say, help me help you. Is everybody going to love me the same way I love you? I don't know, but I'm here. I don't know, but I'm here. I can't answer for 2-3 million people. I can only answer for Uncle Stew. Because if you truly read your Bible, that's not in the Bible either. The Bible calls the leaders whomever you are. So if you're a father, you're a leader. If you're a mother, you're another leader. If you're over children and grandchildren, you're a leader. But the bottom line is, blaming the opposite sex all day long, is it feeding you? Is it going to clothe you? Is it going to save you from what's coming down the pike? Because when you go to work, your employer, they don't care nothing about your mama and daddy. When you go to work, they don't care nothing about your historical issues. But Uncle Stew do, because I want nothing but the best. Listen, I'm not gonna hold y'all up tonight. I love y'all, and I want y'all to understand that I do. Like I said, I will address the fresh and fit situation tomorrow. But I just want y'all to know that I love you tonight. So if no one ever told you, Uncle Stew loves you. And remember, you're not a number, you're a person. And if y'all want to talk to me or you want to communicate with me before I close down, you could put a 1 in the chat and you have the right to come up and talk to me, and I'll be glad to drop the link. If y'all don't want to talk tonight, then that's cool too, because I'm not going to take that personal, because I love y'all. And hopefully, y'all feel the love and understand the love. But if anybody want to talk to me tonight, put a 1 in the chat and I'll drop the link. If not, then we can definitely say a last moment of prayer and have a blessed night. So I'll wait to see if anybody wants to talk to me. Let me give you my announcement first. Up.
Where you are welcome to engage with guests and the panel. Please stay on topic and be respectful to our guests and panel. Be sure to have your camera on while in the back of the studio so that you may be verified by Uncle Stew, and then you may turn your camera off while participating on the panel. You have given up all rights to any footage and clips which can be used by Uncle Stew and his staff. Now please hit the link again and welcome to Uncle Stew's Emancipated Studio.
Is there anybody that want to come up? I'll hit this link. Now you have my time. You can say what you need to say, speak on anything that I've said. If you felt hurt, you felt offended, let me know. Let's talk. I'm only rocking because I'm just trying to see if anybody's going to hit the link, and I'm trying to give the system its time to do what it needs to do or what it wants to do. And as for Uncle Stew, don't worry, this is Kool-Aid, y'all. This ain't no drink. Yep, I'm gonna drop it again, Vaughn, because I know you said you coming up. What's going on, Mr. Vaughn?
Wow. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Wow, Uncle Stu, this was another great stream. And man, so much good information on here. I am in awe. I see God doing a lot of things through you. And I just wanted to get on real quick just to encourage you, to continue what you're doing, man, because it is so needed in these YouTube streets. Definitely needed.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm just glad to be a part of it. I'm very honored to be able to moderate for you at times when I can. And man, you hit on so many different points. I don't even know where to begin, but I see Candid Ann on here, and
Don't rush, y'all.
yeah.
Y'all welcome. Yeah, y'all welcome.
Yeah, I know
Y'all
she's itching
welcome.
to say something, and I would love to hear what she has to say.
Good evening. Good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes,
Hi, Uncle Stu. Hi, Mr. Vaughn. How are you guys doing tonight?
Blessed.
doing well.
So yeah, I'm with Mr. Bryant in that I just wanted to come on here and offer my love and support to this channel. I know that unlike other channels that talk about these salacious topics that are easy to get a lot of views on, Uncle Stu has made a course that's a little bit more difficult, but in the end will definitely be much more rewarding. And I
Hmm.
just wanted to come on here and lend my support because, you are having very difficult conversations and it requires a certain amount of intellectual intelligence. And you have set the standard. And I appreciate all that you've done to harness this community and to make it open for men, for women, for different generations. I'm part of Generation X myself,
Mhm.
and I'm thankful that you at least are willing to, and like it doesn't even apply to me, but I'm thankful that you're at least willing to hear the younger folks out. You know, I think oftentimes it's difficult, especially in my opinion, when you're talking to a military man, because you guys are very solutions oriented and
Mhm,
take personal responsibility very in high regard.
mhm.
And so um, I think sometimes it's difficult when you come from that background to say, this is not about me. It's just a macro view of what's going on. It might not be anything about you whatsoever. You're
Right.
probably the exact opposite of what they're talking about, right? But so I thank you for even having that conversation with the younger people, with you and TJ. I thank you for that. I mean, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't even apply to me. But the
Mhm.
fact that I saw it, I was just moved. I really was. I was really
Right.
moved because it takes someone take it's not easy to take yourself out of a situation and say, you know what, despite the fact that I didn't cause you the hurt, I see that you're hurting and I
Mhm.
want to help you regardless. So I'm going to say, I'm sorry that you're hurting. And that takes an incredible amount of intelligence, emotional
Hmm.
intelligence, psychological intelligence. It
Hmm.
takes a lot. It really does. And so I just wanted to lend my support. I'm not always able to catch all of them because I work like as a nurse. My shift starts at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
And,
you're
and y'all out there doing it too. Y'all out there
yeah.
doing it.
And I have to be honest, sometimes when I come home, unfortunately, one day I came home, I was on Sir Hale's panel
Mhm.
and I was struggling so much. I had a really rough day at work. And just trying to not to talk too much about this life as a nurse, but
Mhm.
Hmm.
there's a different fight that we have in trying to support men, our Black community. There's a different fight that's being had out there that I can't
Mhm.
even speak of if I want to keep my job and continue fighting. And
Right.
so sometimes it makes it difficult for me. So I had a moment in which I kind of broke down a little bit because I was so frustrated. But, I have to say that a lot of men's panels, you guys have been welcoming to me, and I want more women who are afraid to possibly speak up and discuss things to come on here. Come on here. Come on Sir Hill's channel. Come on Uncle Stu's
Hmm.
channel. Come on these different channels and just speak your truth. But I believe in, I don't always, I'm not always successful, but I try to be respectful. And I think that's a lot of what you've displayed and why it's so important, because if we're going to go back and forth, like you talked about the fresh and fit thing, and you'll talk about that tomorrow.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
if we're, because I'm from New York, I'm from the Bronx, right? So if you want to get nasty, we can get nasty. I can, you know,
I'm from
but
uptown, so
what I'm saying?
Exactly,
But where
right?
does that lead us?
going at that Chicago, California. Me and you
Hey, come
understand New
on.
York language. That's
You know what
right.
I mean?
We can
But where does that
definitely
lead
go there. We
us?
can definitely go there.
We can go there, but at
Exactly.
the end of the day, I'm calling you an MF or you calling me an MF. So what? We have two MFers in here just calling each other names. And where does that lead our community? Did I learn anything?
Right.
What did I gain from from that? What did you gain from that by
Right.
making entire streams about nastiness and rudeness and being vulgar? What did it help our community? Like I
Mhm.
said, I'm not a flower in which I can't have some of these conversations, but I'm choosing to, as I learn more about this whole new space, because YouTube has changed. When I started off, YouTube was a
Mm,
whole different thing. And now with these live panels, I'm learning to interact and to get what I think is most valuable, not for
mhm.
myself, because I could turn this computer off. I make well over $100,000. I'm married. I could turn this thing off and it doesn't help me. But
Right.
our community needs the help, and I'm willing in
Yes,
whatever way to to
yes.
to to enter a different voice, because men are saying they don't see women like us, that we're not, there's all kinds of different things. I just want to, as you know, Uncle Stu, we talked about how I love the church, but I don't really like church people.
That's
Ah,
You
right.
know, these are
exactly.
conversations. This is a different view. That doesn't mean to say that like I don't want to hear from people that are religious, but Uncle Stu understood me. I don't know if I've been over to many other panels, would they have been able to hear me the way that Uncle Stu heard me? So I'm rambling
Hmm.
now, but I just wanted to offer my love and support, and yeah, and tell you that like even though I'm not always able to catch everything, I'm watching, I'm still supporting, and I thank you for just for this work. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy. You chose the hard route, Uncle Stu. You chose the hard route.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you.
And just to piggyback off of what she was just saying, you know, I'm here to support you as well.
Thank
I see what it is that you're doing. And it's definitely awesome, you know, and you have such an open heart for what you're doing. It's like God is putting you right in the position that you should be in, you know. And is it for everybody? It may not be, but it
you. Right.
is for the ones who it is for,
Right.
you know. So just, hey, your gift will make room for you, and that's what it's doing. That's exactly what it's doing. And I'm
Thank you.
just glad to be a part of it. Excuse me. I didn't want to leave you hanging, because oftentimes it's not easy for one person to get up and say all of the things that you said. A lot of times we feel like we are standing alone. And
Right.
so this is why I got up here, is because I don't want you to feel like you're standing alone. you know
Thank you.
I'm here supporting you. you know we are of the same era. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And so I understand exactly some of the things that you're saying, you know? And so I
Mhm.
just, I got on here just to support, and I just appreciate you, Uncle Stu, and I believe greater things are to come.
Thank you.
Same here. That's exactly like Vaughn. Sometimes I feel like Vaughn is the male version of myself. Whatever he says, I'm telling you, I can't wait to support. I want to be your number. I want to be your first subscriber, like the
I, you
absolute
know, I,
first one.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm working on some things. I'm working on some things.
You
It's
know,
just, it's a timely process, and I'm not trying to rush it, but I'm getting used to just expressing myself in some of these situations,
yeah, same
and
here.
learning how to do that. And then, I'll progress as I go along. But man, great, great, great show tonight.
Yes.
And TJ and her husband.
Yes.
It was so good to see love, and it was so good to see a strong Black woman, which a lot of people in the manosphere seems like they like to run from. But that's just
Uh-oh.
my opinion. That's just my opinion. But I have a strong Black woman here where I live at, my wife. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so when I see that type of strength in a woman, but then I see the submissiveness there,
Right.
it's not hard for her, and it exudes from her. And so that was a sight to see for me, and it was such a pleasure. Kudos to them and their relationship, and I wish them much success. And so great show again, Uncle Stu.
Yes,
Thank you.
agreed, agreed. And I just to talk about the strong Black woman thing also, oftentimes I know that women, Black women especially, we want to be so strong in the world, and sometimes we have to be. But as a woman that's married to a Black man, I can't tell you how happy and comforting it is to know that I can be broken in front of him, and knowing that this Black man here to lift me up and support me. So even though sometimes to the world we do have to, and I'm mostly speaking from a nurse's perspective, and all the hard things that I have to do to fight for your health. So I might be coming from a very a different kind of a view. But whatever job that you have or whatever your situation is, I want Black men to know, and Uncle Stu, I'm very adamant about this, that despite who we are in the world, it is wonderful. You guys, you men are so valuable to us, and it is a comfort to know that if I have to be a beast to the world, I can come home and be meek, because I know the covering that I have with my husband and with this Black man, that I can be broken, I can be vulnerable.
Mm,
Like that
mm,
is such a wonderful thing, and it
mm.
has nothing to do with a bag, with but that's a whole different thing.
It's a sanctuary. It's a
Yes,
sanctuary. You know, even when I was in the workplace, and I'm approaching retiring now, but you know, when I did what I did at work, but when I came home, it was my sanctuary. And my wife made it as such. And I appreciate her so much for that, And she
that's
worked as
right.
well, but even though she worked too, she just still did so much, So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and I want to, that's why I'm here. And that's why I enjoy listening so much to Uncle Stu and his many guests, because he doesn't speak to one talking point. I saw the panel when he had the single mom on here from the Caribbean. Like,
Mhm.
he's not afraid to touch every single aspect and humanize some of the things that is often demonized in some of these communities, to put a different face on it. And that's not easy work. It's not
Mm.
easy work.
No.
No,
So
it's not.
that's why I
It's
wanted
not.
to come on here. I know I didn't have like a whole lot to add to the conversation, because the conversation didn't really need me at all. It really didn't. But I just wanted to show my love and support. I
Thank
really just
you.
want to show my love and support, and to know that, I'm working myself on, I believe in effective communication and speaking. Um, when we're having these hard conversations, I too am still working on it. And so I thank you guys for allowing me to make mistakes and have these conversations, and helping me out. I appreciate each one of you guys for that, as well as in the chat. You guys have challenged me in the chat, and if so there's work that needs to be done, and through these channels such as Uncle Stu, and many others, um,
Hmm.
that work is being done, and I don't want us to get tired of talking about these things.
Right.
I want us to continue talking about it, because you don't know who's watching and what difference you're making. you
Right.
know
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And Candid, and you have such an open mind. You may not agree with everything, and I've watched you on many different panels. I love to hear you speak, but
Thank you.
you have such an open mind, but you have your own opinion, and that's how it should be. And you invite a conversation, which is what we should be having, instead of this bickering back and forth. We're doing that quite a bit, and basically, I'm thoroughly tired of it. You know,
Right.
I can relax and have a conversation with you three right now. And
Mhm.
that's the issue. That's what we need to get to, because now we can form some type of solutions when we can sit down and discuss the matter, but
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm struggling too, Mr. Bryant. I'm struggling to find my voice. I have some
me too.
insecurities. I have some insecurities because, when I enter these panels, you might know me, and Uncle Stu knows a bit about me, and Uncle Stu has my real phone number, and he can call me and say, "What the heck were you talking about there, girl?"
No,
Like,
we we
he
we
can
talk
check
as
me.
well.
He
Yes.
can check me, because he understands me, and I know it's coming from a loving place. But there are times where if I talk on these panels, automatically there's assumptions made
Hmm.
about you. And not to say that I can't take the heat, but I want to have an open conversation, as to opposed to a one-sided conversation in which we're just spewing things back and forth. So I have some insecurities, and it stopped me from making videos, but I'm working on that. I'm working on being more confident and
Hmm.
learning how to speak effectively as opposed to just going back and forth. Because I realized through Uncle Stu and all the different panels that I've been a part of, depending on the person that's leading the panel, like Uncle Stu, you see the direction that because he's a leader on this channel. He's the leader, and depending
Yes.
on, he sets the tone for how the conversation and the chat will be. And these, even though he's never said anything or spoken to this is also something that Uncle Stu is teaching us. His
Mhm.
decorum, the way that he's acting on the panel, the way that he's um, conducting himself,
Exactly.
and opening a lot of different people to disagree with respect. And so I've been on other contentious panels where people are going back and forth, just putting my foot in the water, finding out where I can, and so yeah, I think you, like, there's so many things I can go on and on about, but I just want to make round it up here and say I thank you guys for Mr. Uncle Stu, Brown Eyes, for tolerating all of our craziness and keeping your husband away from us, from you. So it's much appreciated, much appreciated. And you guys offer, not just, these conversations are not just about you know these are life lessons that we're going to take away, and you it's a seed that is being sown, and that you, like, I think someone was saying, I can't remember who it was, you might not see the results of it, Uncle Stu, all the time, but I want you to know that you are putting seeds that are being sown. And like, I saw someone in the chat, he was talking about how you literally are one of the few people in which he feels comfortable. You're more of an uncle than his real uncle. Like,
Wow.
Wow.
did you
Isn't
see that
that
in the chat,
something?
Uncle Stu? And that's one
No,
person
no.
of
A lot of
many.
times when I'm talking, I don't look at the chat.
That's what's
And
being
Brown
said
Eyes
about you.
responded to your statement. Yeah, a lot of times I'm not, looking at the chat. That's kind of what I got. Mr. Vaughn and Wally, they're my chat monitors.
I,
But
I
that's
I
the
think I
impact that
think
you're having, Uncle Stu. So even if
uh-huh.
Vaughn, I just want you to know that even if Mr. Vaughn, or even if I didn't come up on the panel, I know that you're not reading the chat, but oh yeah, 7 Mile awesome.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna
what
say
he
that.
said about you. So I want
Yeah.
that. I want
Mhm.
you to see that, because even if we didn't come up on this panel, I didn't want you to feel any kind of way. I want you to know that this is what's happening. This is the difference that you're making.
Mhm. And
Yeah,
sometimes at the
I
end,
speak to
Uncle
Seven
Stu,
Mile. He
exactly.
contacts me all the time via email. So me and him is always conversing in the back. And on one of my Q&As, I do plan, there's a video he did. I'm gonna use that video to kind of have an open discussion.
Uncle Stu, when are you having the panel discussion about I love God, but I don't like church people?
Great question, because everything else has been coming
Oh,
up.
Uncle Stu,
It
Uncle
is
Stu,
supposed to be between this month and next month, but it'll probably be
uh,
in March.
Uncle
Okay.
Stu. I'm gonna send you a photo for a possible thumbnail that you can use, but it is so deep when you see the picture. I know you're gonna call me and say, "Wow,"
Okay.
you know, because I already know you can take it and just run with it, you know.
Yes, sir.
But
I'll definitely
yeah,
take a look at it. I done got loaded up with so many books that I
actually, I
got
was gonna
that I'm
call
reading
you. I was
and
gonna
trying to
call you
put.
to tell you that, but
Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to. So, I'm glad I
yeah.
got a
I got
chance
I
now.
got a couple of things that I gotta get out. Um, I gotta get out about two different books that I'm reading and trying to put that in video form in order to get
Mhm.
that out. Um, I got things going on with the 6 hour live that I did the other night.
That was
Um,
awesome. That was also awesome,
That was
man.
amazing.
Come on.
I watched it
yeah,
from Las Vegas. My husband, we just came
Yes.
back from a buffet, so he was knocked out. He was in food comatose, so I got to sneak in. I had my headphones in the hotel, and I was watching it. I was in the chat. I couldn't come up or anything, but I was in the chat and I was watching every bit of it. It was wonderful.
yeah. So it was like, well, this one was long, so I
But you
gotta,
know
I
what?
gotta,
That's I mean, it's inevitable that that's gonna happen sometimes. And
yeah,
even like tonight, when you were you know, doing the end part where you were just, being used the way you were being used, man, even if you didn't have nobody else come up, you could have ended it, and it would have been perfect. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
we wanted to get up because we want to let you know that we are in support of what you're
Yes.
doing,
Thank
you
you.
know. But you held the end even after the interview, and
Yes.
then it shifted, and then you just kept going and going and going. And see, you were going with the flow, and that's what we need, you know. The, the
Yeah.
earth is crying out for this type of truth, you know, and we don't see it that often. So
Wow.
kudos
I
kudos
just
to
I
you,
just
man.
wanted to address certain issues. And like I said, I will address the fresh and fit one tomorrow. But I just need truth, and everybody to learn to pick up a book instead of picking up your emotions. Pick up a book. Go really learn. Go study to show yourself approved on a God, a workman, and need not to be ashamed. So rightly divide the word of truth. There are people that died so that you could have a platform. Died so that you could pick up a book.
Yeah.
Malcolm X had to go to jail to learn how to read, and we won't read. We won't pick up a book and read. There
Reading
are
is
people
fundamental.
that's right. There are people that's illiterate. They can't read. We can read.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to read the book, get an audio book. Read before you make assumptions on people, and before you make assumptions on the things people went through and act like you could have went through it. I can't sit there and say, oh yeah, well, them people that was in slavery, they stupid. I would have ran away and been free. We ain't in slavery. We don't know that. One thing I study history as a historian. First thing they teach you in college 101 of history is don't put yourself in the history. Our job is to accept history as is and write the story as it is in the proper context that it's written. I can't put myself in the 60s, and I wasn't in the 60s, and then try to judge the 60s. You can't judge history that way.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just leave it where it is. You can look, you can see where certain mistakes happen, but that is looking backwards at our time. Heck, I could have went all the way back and said, well, this group is stupid and that group is, we wasn't there. I wish somebody would have sat in front of my father and said that, but we wasn't there.
And to that point, I think that while many of the young people, they want to be heard, I hope that they will also take a moment to listen to the older generation to get a better perspective of the fact that these were young people that were trying to figure things out and that didn't have the same footing that we have today. And so this conversation needs to be a two-way conversation. It can't just be older people apologizing to younger people. It has to be younger people willing to listen to older people and understand where they come from. It's very important. And I've often spoken to my
Exactly.
little, so that needs to happen as well. And I hope that eventually we can get there, because without that, there's no point in having a one-way conversation. We
And
have
that,
to understand where Uncle Stew is coming from. We have to understand the history, not just Uncle Stew, but the whole historical background and the
Mm-hmm.
entire landscape of what this looked like. So I have a video talking about forgiving our parents, because I do believe that we all make mistakes. That's inevitable. But when you don't understand why someone did what they did, it becomes really difficult to to get a true understanding, to get that healing that you might be seeking. If you don't understand why someone made the mistake they did, it might because it had nothing to do with you. It probably affected you, but it probably had nothing to do with you. And so if you open yourself up to a two-way dialogue with some of our elders, you might have a better understanding and get that healing that you're so desperately trying to get.
I'll even take it one step further. Malcolm X, Dr. King, the Black Panther Party. None of these people was over 30 years old. None of them. None of them. None of them. But if it wasn't for the Black Panther Party, they wouldn't have breakfast in the schools today. They started that.
Yes, they did.
When you talk about amendment rights, Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, it was the Black Panthers that did that. When you talk about knowing how to read the reasoning candidate, and you're in New York, so you understand. We sold Black history books on Wall Street. We was reading. Why? Because the college professors that was charging in their dissertation was writing the books and selling it on 125th Street, was selling in front of Wall Street. We was reading our history. When you talk about Dr. King and you talk about the people that followed his philosophy, it was all under 30. Dr. King split the Black Baptist Church over this stuff. So if you really want to argue, you could say those under 30 were supposed to be leading. Supposed to be leading. Me and Vaughn are supposed to be just taking our retirement money and funding it to the young generation to lead.
Yeah.
Show me where Malcolm X blamed everybody. All he said was he was against civil rights. Why? Because he feel that we have a right to defend ourselves. Same philosophy as the Black Panther Party. And when Dr. King came to the North, because he was losing in the sense of strength and leadership, he came back with an economic agenda. That's when he had to go. I just want the best for my people. From 20 up, I want the best for them.
Exactly. And I believe that the way that we could bridge this quote unquote gap, is listening to each other. I believe that the elders need to listen to the younger people, and the younger people need to listen to the elders. The reason is because we both have something that we can learn from each other. I, for one, can tell you that my son probably knows more about these electronics than I do. He's 16. I can learn something from him. But at the same time, he can learn something from me as well. Some of these pitfalls that I can kind of guide you away from falling into different holes that you could possibly fall in if you have an open mind to listen. But it all depends on our approach. How are we approaching these young people? If we're dogmatic, Uncle Stu, if we're too dogmatic, see, they're going to reject what we're saying. So we need to figure out how to have the conversation, and so that's just my point with that.
No, you're perfectly fine. It goes back to what Candid Ann said. You can't make every 50-year-old, 60-year-old, and then when they're trying to educate you or try to say, hey, let me explain, you reject it. If I sit up there and say, hey, let me tell you what happened in the 90s. Now you say, no, we don't want to hear about what y'all went through. Hear us. And it's like, okay, maybe if you just be quiet for a second, then it's easier to understand you for the second. Why? I got a 36-year-old. So don't make it ignorant that I don't talk to my 36-year-old to know what 30-year-olds are going through. I got a 23-year-old. I listen to what they're going through. I've
Yeah.
always said there's certain things. Nah, your parents couldn't have predicted a pandemic any more than my parents could have predicted the crack epidemic.
Yeah. That's right.
So my question is, even if nobody gave you the power, what are you going to do now? Because economically, guess what? There's a national crisis getting ready to take place. What you going to do if this government decides they're not going to do any more of these free dollars that everybody been getting? What you going to do? How are you going to live when that 30% hit? Because that 30% is hitting now. I don't know what it did in California. I don't know what it did in New York. But I know in a whole lot of other states, guess what? That 30% hitting. Are you ahead of the curve or behind the curve? What you going to do when Democrats is no longer giving out crack pipes and these brothers say, look, we
And
tired of this.
oh God,
And all of a
and
sudden,
that whole concept to me is such foolishness.
but guess
But
what?
I'm not going to address that now,
Yeah,
and possibly later on your show whenever you have that discussion.
We'll
But
have it
to me
tomorrow.
personally, that
Yeah.
just absolutely makes no kind of sense.
But
You know,
we're
that
fighting
money
over-
could be
right.
better spent. It could be
Mhm.
better spent on rehabilitation or something else that makes more sense than that.
But that's what people voted for. That's what they wanted, that black woman in there. You got it. You wanted that party. You got it. You wanted them policies. You got it. But we fighting over some other stuff that don't make sense.
Wow, that's it's amazing what's going on. I'm telling you, it's something else.
I got men that needs to be having 2K subs. Why? Because they're teaching the financial game and not just crypto. They're teaching you the basics of finance so that you can get ahead of this curve because it's coming. You think about winter and they say, oh, winter coming. They think that's just for women. No, that's for me and that's for the unprepared.
You better preach.
It's going to be a famine.
It's coming.
A famine.
This
Nobody
ain't,
knows that word, right?
that's right. There is no Peter Bosha, and I'm speaking facts prophetically, and it's not just the Holy Ghost. It's now in document. So everybody want to run around being foolish. Go ahead. Soon, this government is going to take a back smack. All that money that was given up, somebody got to pay for it. Me and Intentional Millionaire did a huge platform on capitalism. And I
One of
said
your
it
best.
then.
I saw that. That was one of the. I watched it probably like 5 times.
Thank you.
I watched it over and over and over. It was great because it really broke down fundamentally when you spoke about. I think the part that I rewound multiple times is when you spoke about, you read, and I'm going to mess it up, but you read the Wall Street Journal to find out about the financial issues, and then you
Right.
read the New York Times to find out about the social issues.
Yes.
Maybe I got it reversed
You got
about
it
like
right.
the order in which you read it. Like maybe you read one first and then the other. But I thought, whoa, because you're reading about the same issue. But what I love about you, and this is something that rings true about you, Uncle Stu, over and over and over, is that you're not looking for someone to agree with you. You're looking simply for the truth. So when you read 2 different newspapers about the
Mhm.
same topic, you're looking for 2 different perspectives so that you can find those facts, the common facts in between. And so this is the same thing that you do over and over and over again. And so
Right.
that was one of the best streams. You got a lot of great streams now, but one of the ones that I loved, that I really
Right.
loved because it offered information to our community that you don't see much of, right? Especially
Mhm.
who reads the newspaper anymore? We're on Instagram and we're on all these other platforms. So the
internet,
simple fact that
exactly.
you mentioned that you read these two newspapers because you're trying to find the historical and societal reasonings as well as the financial reasons,
Right.
that really was something that I picked up on and really honed in on.
Yes. And still do to this day. When I talk, you hear me talk more of the social aspect of it. I hint around the economics to try to get people that hook on understanding what is micro and macroeconomics and what's happening. You see, now a lot of people isn't going to catch it. Why? It's not because it's not plain. It's because there's other people that want to see my people down, and they look just like you. Why do you think the Democrats do what they do? Because they're making money off of you. They love all of this chaos on YouTube. They're making money off of you. People think that starting a platform, it just means I open up my laptop, get my 1K subscribers, I monetize. There's a process to
It's
monetization.
it's much more to it than that, I could
A
imagine.
whole lot more to it.
And just to
But I
speak,
can't tell them nothing. If you think you're going to run around and be the next Derrick Jackson, go for it. I done seen every Derrick Jackson all fall. But you got them out here, they doing the Derrick Jackson thing. Man, you need to be teaching my people truth and not all this foolishness. If you think that just saying, well, you men need to level up. If you think that's going to be the answer, good luck. Because
and
a
Uncle
whole lot
Stu,
more to this than what everybody wants to understand. And let me really stir up the pot. You ready?
Go
And
ahead.
then this is going to get so serious that this ain't even racial anymore. It's an American situation.
mhm.
We just happen to get the blunt of it. But guess what? People don't get it together. You watch. You think violence is in the streets now. Wait till you see when real situation happens. And it ain't going to be long. And I ain't talking end the world situation. Not talking about that. We talking about salute to Sir L Speaks. We are talking about some serious social, economic, political issues coming down the pipe.
And so, Uncle Stu, one of the things that if you can one day speak to is the.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's crazy.
Hey,
I
look.
see what the intentional millionaire is putting there in the chat. But man, I am so appalled just by that whole situation. I don't understand that, man. That it just doesn't, like, is this what we've come to?
Yeah,
You
it
know,
makes a lot of
come
sense.
on, come
It
on.
makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. First, they told you your weed is legal. That's the gateway drug back to cocaine, because if I can control your mind,
Yeah,
I
just
got
keep
your
you dumb,
whole life. That's right. I
keep
got
you
your mind.
stupefied. Exactly.
You understand? First, I convince you weed is all right, it's good. Guess what? The weed my people smoking ain't the weed they creating. So they already got them smoking weed, tell them it's okay. So that already delusions the mind. Then go ahead and take this crack pipe and just be up in the clouds somewhere. Meanwhile, you got a war getting ready to take off in Europe. You better understand what's going on in Russia. Then you got this whole generation of people sat up here and wanted all this money, free money, all this rent money they got, all this welfare money they got, all this money. And guess what? You got to pay back. Somebody got to pay for it. It just don't just be created and you go. Somebody got to pay for it. And guess what? As soon as they got in office, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for all these businesses that couldn't make money because y'all was getting all that welfare money. Somebody got to pay for it. And guess what? Now, businesses are saying, now y'all got to pay the piper. Because see, what everybody forgot, while everybody was staying home, collecting that good free check, businesses still had to run. Guess what? They still had to pay the bills. They still had to pay their employees. They still had to pay insurance and light and gas. See, businesses were still having to operate. So they was losing money. Right? So guess what? Now that a lot of these government subsidies that everybody was getting, all these PP loans, EE loans, this loan, that loan, guess what? Somebody got to pay the piper.
It's gonna come back to bite you.
And what did I say in my go back? Whether you want to see it on my page or Intentional Millionaire page, who did I say is going to pay for this? The middle class, the middle class, the middle class. But you know what everybody get caught up on? Oh, the Democrats said the white man is this. Oh, the Republicans are racist. So we're going to go follow the color scheme. We ain't going to solve no problems. We just going to go after the color. And matter of fact, here, y'all take this blunt. Smoke this blunt while you're going to go push the lever for the Democrats. Take this crack pipe with you. Go on, take the crack pipe and the weed, and y'all go smoke and get high now. While we sit up here in our comfy chairs.
Unbelievable.
Y'all go ahead. We're gonna give y'all want platforms? Go ahead. Y'all fight on platforms. Y'all wanted the mic, we give you the mic. Go ahead. Y'all yell at each other, cuss each other out. Go ahead. Meanwhile, we're gonna come in here and them since y'all don't want to live in these neighborhoods, we'll take them from you. Give me these houses. When you were paying $500 rent, that's all right. We got this. Oh, the rent going up to $1,000. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Because all y'all want to do is smoke weed and smoke crack. We got this. All y'all want to do is blame the white man all day. But it's your own people that's also doing it too.
To me, it's just sad that the government would support something like that.
No, let me help you, Brian. We supporting that. Black people. We put that boy in that White House because we didn't want the redhead dude because the blue people said that the redhead person was so prejudiced. And then they told us, don't go that direction because them are the Uncle Toms and the sellouts.
Yeah, well, you have them in both parties. So, I believe there's corruption in both parties. I don't get too deep into that, but there's corruption on both sides.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The reason I say that is because here is the thing that they don't teach, or rather, we're not studying. And I've challenged people over and over. Go study what happened in the early 90s under Clinton. Go study what happened under Obama. And I don't care if you're going to be a Republican, Democrat. Do you know the policies? Do you know the policies? There's a reason why they allow things to happen. I want better for my people.
And I can imagine that the people that did vote this gentleman into office, they had no idea. Some of them had no idea that it would revert to this. So, sometimes you get a little bit of a bait and switch thing going on.
No, you did.
You're all for the people in the beginning.
No,
but then when you get in there, it's a lot of chaos.
Believe it or not, we did know. What did he tell you? He told it to
Did
Charlemagne the
did
God. If
did
you
we
didn't
know
vote for
did we
him,
know that
you
did
wrong
we know
black.
that he was did we know that he was going to distribute crack pipes to the crackheads? Now,
He
I
said,
have a testimony, Uncle Stu. I haven't told my testimony yet.
yeah,
I told
he
it a little bit on someone else's panel,
when he
but
said
or platform rather.
when he said you ain't black unless you vote Democrat. He
Yeah.
told you exactly what it was about. He played the biggest race card you could play. Go ahead and vote the other direction. You ain't black. You to be black, you got to be Democrat. He told you up front and personal.
Well,
He
me
didn't make no
personally, as far as me personally, you
mm-hmm.
know, I would rather vote for someone that, regardless to whether they're Democrat or Republican, I don't believe that I'm party oriented like that.
No,
You
you
know,
always will hear
I,
me
I
say
would I would
policy,
I would
policy,
like to vote
policy.
for an individual who seems, or rather seems to be the better choice. You know what I'm
I
saying?
want you to
But oftentimes we're so flagged by some of the pretentiousness that we overlook the fact that this person is probably just not the right person to be in office. And a
policy,
lot of us have made that mistake many times, Uncle Stu, many times, black
policy,
and white.
policy, 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 policy. I'm always going
Mhm.
to tell everybody study the policy over the person.
Yeah.
Policy,
Yeah. And then that
policy.
has to do with a lot of reading too. And a lot of us, we don't study what these policies are. We just say, oh, they're Democrats, so let's vote for them. Oh, they're Republican, so let's vote for them. I'm really not a political person, but I know it plays a big part in the furtherment of our country. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still amazed that, a person who would profess to be a Christian, you know, would you know, condone uh, passing out crack pipes. I'm just that
Yeah,
that that uh, that
let
bothers
me,
me right
yeah,
there.
let me address Yella. Yella, the weed that you're smoking with your average dealer is not the weed that they are growing. So when I say to you, weed, the gateway drug, it is not the same type of weed. The weed that you getting every day on the street, if I was to sit there and dechemify that weed, is totally different than actually growing it yourself. There's a whole discussion we can have to that. But you missed the point, Yella. What you're missing is they're sticking crack pipes in the community. They're sitting up here wanting us not to think, not to have a clear level head. That's the point, Yella. Now we're going to argue over whether weed is the gateway. Why are we not arguing over how we're going to earn a business? How we're going to develop economics? How we're going to make an economic system? Why we can't debate those issues? Now we got to debate whether weed is not a gateway drug. Fine, weed is not a gateway drug, Yella. Is it going to help us with the economic situation getting ready to come down the pike? I love you, Yella, but I want us to think on a higher level. Why is this being done? That's the higher level thinking. We are better than this. One minute we saying we kings and queens. One minute we say we the first of everything, but we're losing. And the answers is simple. We just got to do the work. I said earlier, if you never get a woman, you're going to stop going to work. If you never get a woman, we're going to stop doing business. If you never get a work, your life is going to stop. No, we got to get out here and do the work. I want us to be better. I always say, help me, help you, that we can help the entire community.
Well, so here's a question for me then. These things are already in place. Um, they're going to be passing out these crack pipes. We already know it. That it's going to be like a care package. I don't know if they call it a care package, but to me, it just seems like you don't care. But anyway, so this is already going to take place. So where do we go from there? I mean, where do we go from there?
Well, see, you got to remember, how did they get drugs into the Black community through crack cocaine selling? They gave it to drug dealers that was selling weed. And those brothers that was able to sell weed started selling crack. Why? And then they realized they can make more money off of selling crack than they can weed. How was the city of Miami built? This is the part of the whole Nicaraguan, that whole thing. That's why I touched on the weed, because I see the same pattern. The same pattern. Wally said, call it a care package.
Well, I definitely know about the history of it. My thing is, since this is taking place and they're already talking about these quote unquote care packages, where do we go from there? What do we do now that this is going to be taking place? How are these people going to be helped? Because it seems like you're spoon feeding them to continue on with their addiction.
So can I speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Go right ahead.
The best answer, part of it is going to be my tomorrow speech, which I hope doesn't go past 30 minutes. It's going to be my tomorrow speech. The answer is, what did he say? It's not even close.
They're two different. They are two different substances.
They are, but I'm trying to show,
and I can definitely testify to that. Like I said, I have a testimony.
What I'm trying to get y'all to understand, if you study what happened in the 70s and how this came into our community in the 80s, you will see the parallel. I'm trying to show. I just told you, I read the Wall Street Journal, I read the New York Times. I've lived it. I know it. This is how it got in there. And I don't want to see us set up. I don't want us arguing over, okay, fine. I said yellow, you want to say weed? Fine. But you're not looking at the bigger picture. I'm trying to get, okay, let me give you a hint of what I'm talking about. Why is it that we're comparing our worst with someone else's worst? Why are we not comparing our best to someone else's best?
Can I talk a little bit when you're done about the just the medical aspect of some of these, why we, in my opinion, create some of these programs, just speaking as a nurse. But when you're done, I don't want to interrupt. I just don't want to forget.
Yeah, we can. I'm just, I want you to go ahead and speak to it. What I'm trying to get Yellow to understand is, can we elevate the conversation? Because there's more serious issues than, even if you want to say I made a faux pas, you go ahead. But there's bigger issues out here that we need to be addressing. But go ahead. I'm right here. I'm just fixing something in the back.
Okay. So for one, hey Yella, I hope you are contributing to your 401k. Inside joke with Yella and his weed smoking, right? But I'm going to do some research regarding this crack pipe, because as we were speaking on the panel, I quickly did a quick search, and from just on the New York Times, I guess according to what I'm reading right now, Biden isn't necessarily funding crack pipes. And so I have to do some more research. But what I will say is this: as a healthcare provider, as a healthcare, personnel or whatever, I can tell you that, one thing about the American healthcare system that a lot of people don't realize is that unlike many other places in the world, America will at least see you and take care of you. You might not like the service, you might not get the best service, but just like if I'm from my family is from the Caribbean, we're from Barbados, you have to pay in advance in full before any doctor is going to do any procedure on you. You go to Mexico and you break your foot will be broken until you can run that card and pay for that in full. Other people, and I'm telling you this as as a nurse, other people from around this country can come here and say, I have chest pain, and hospitals in America are not allowed to send you back home, even if you have no insurance whatsoever. And so, who pays for that? And so, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because while I have to do some research, but as it pertains to the drug crisis, and people that are on oftentimes disability, you get from dirty needles, you get something called endocarditis, and that is basically vegetation. Vaughn, you're probably familiar with it because you work in the OR. And so we have to do open heart surgery to repair your valves. Very
Exactly.
expensive. You have to be in the ICU. You have it's a recovery process. And this person has no insurance because you are on disability, you're a drug user. And so I don't know what's going on with this whole crack pipe thing. I have to do research. I'm going to say that over and over again. But I'm wondering, is the government trying to circumvent some of these healthcare problems that happens in which they have to on the back end pick up the tab on? That's what I'm wondering. Now I could be wrong. I don't know. I have to research and find out. But sometimes um we don't understand what's going on as it pertains, like as B9 would say, on a macro level, because one thing about the American healthcare system is the hospitals cannot turn you away. Now, you might not get the full spectrum, but they have to at least take you out of danger and make sure that you're stable, despite the fact that you have insurance or not. But you still have to pay for me because I still need my check. You still have to pay for that surgeon. You still have to pay for that scrub tech. You still have to pay for that maintenance team. You still have to pay for all the supplies for EVS to come clean your room before and after, all the people that's giving you food while you're there. All that stuff still needs to be paid for, despite the fact of you having insurance or not. And I don't know of any other country other than America that does that. I don't know of any other country that will take you. Maybe other places will, I don't know. But here in America, many, I can tell you that you can be without any insurance and go in there and say, I have chest pain. And it could be simply that, and I'm telling you the honest to God truth, simply because it's cold outside and you don't have a place to stay. And if you know the right words, you can at least spend, if you're willing to get poked and prodded, you can spend at least a nice warm night in the bed with a call light at your with a call light. Hit that button and say, can you give me ice cream at 2 o'clock in the morning? Can I have coffee? Can somebody send me this? And if you're willing to get blood work and all that stuff until we can clear you medically and send you back out there, I don't know of any other country that does that. Now, like, I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or I'm just here to speak of what's going on. I'm not saying that I agree. I'm not saying that I disagree. I'm just saying that I wonder if that has anything at all to do with some of these decisions that the government is making, because it's a financial decision on the back end as it pertains to so many people being on Medicare, Medicaid, and these different social programs. That's all I'm
Interesting.
wondering.
That's interesting. Interesting concept.
Yeah, because I know a lot of times during the pandemic, people were talking about, like, why aren't the liquor stores closed? They've got all these other stores closed, but why not the liquor store? Do
Isn't
you
that
have any
interesting?
idea? There's two things that if you stop doing immediately can have the potential. You could stop smoking crack. You could smoke crack for 20 years and stop smoking it and you'll be all right. But
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
try to stop. If you've been drinking alcohol and you've been an alcoholic for 10 years, you try doing that and you will get a grand mal seizure, and you can die. You can die from alcohol.
Exactly.
Alcohol and any kind of benzodiazepine, any kind of
Hey, I need you to put this in the chat that is for information
for
only.
information purposes
Oh, I
only.
can do
Because
that.
you would get me demonetized on this one stream.
Where's Big Bad Bull? I know he's on there. Let me try to do it.
But you can get a seizure if you stop drinking. And so therefore, with the hospitals being inundated, I have personally can tell you that our hospital system, I worked when the situation happened. I was on a cardiac unit. When you get a stent, you come and see me afterwards. I'll help you to the post procedure. We had to shut that. That's a money making unit because these elective surgeries make money for the hospital. We had to shut that down and take C19 patients, right? And so we had no capacity to dry out America with alcohol, getting the moving from alcohol, because you need to be in a hospital. If you're going to detox from alcohol, you need to be in a hospital setting. You can't just stop. It's not safe. And so we have no bed capacity to do both at the same time. And so people sometimes don't understand that. And they criticize how you closed the church, but you didn't close the liquor store. America got their priorities messed up. You got to understand
Well,
what's going on.
Yeah, only thing I'm going to say.
I was going to say that, but I didn't say it, but you said it.
Yeah.
They left the liquor stores open, but they made you shut that church down.
Right.
So, that was interesting.
But what I'm going to bring it back to is I just want my people to know better and do better because we can be better.
Amen.
That's right.
You know, you ask, what do we do? It's already being done. It's just a matter of time before certain people's going to get certain information. They're going to get it and they're going to apply it. One of me, an intentional millionaire, and we ain't signing. We always argue. That's the one thing that all three of us constantly echo, which is this. Stop saying you own a black business. You have a business. You want the knowledge. It is out here. Get it, apply it, and move forward. But if you refuse to get it when it's out here, literally free, come on and get it. But if you just don't want it, I can't tell you what's going to happen, but I told you, give it 1 year and you're going to see this country flip. And it's going to be about the haves and the haves not. And it ain't going to be on race. It's going to be about the haves and the have nots. And those that are fighting the have will have it. And they're going to protect what they have. And I'm trying to make sure that my people don't become the have nots when they got an opportunity to have.
Thank you, Uncle Stew.
You're welcome.
I just want to say, I always feel so comfortable coming up on your platform. I don't feel like I'm going to get yelled at or cursed out, even though I'm expressing my opinion. But, some different platforms, I refuse to try to even jump into that water because, they have a lot going on. And, I just don't want to go out like that. But thank you. Thank you.
You are so welcome. To everybody in the chat, we ain't signing. Welcome, salute. 7 Miles, salute. Wally, you always in the game. Intentional, we're gonna have to get together. We gotta get them crack pipes. We can sell a lot of them. 100 Watt, my boy, my homeboy in the house.
That's just crazy.
Jenny Jan is in the house. And y'all know Brown Eyes came in late in the house. Yella in the house. Let me see who came in kind of on the late side. She stole my thunder in the house. Salute. All right. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, as I said to you, hit those like buttons. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, I am here to try to give y'all the best interviews, bring the greatest people to the panel so that we can all be here. Yes, yes, yes. Appreciate you. Y'all see. So I want all of y'all, if you got questions, you got answers, you just want to vent real quick, email me. Go on to the about page, hit those two buttons. You'll see my email. Hit me with an email. If you don't think I respond, ask 7 Mile. Ask 7 Mile if I do respond to emails. I respond. So hit me up in the email. Let me know what you thinking. As I always say, help me help you. You know, like I said, we could do this together. We could do this one man at a time, one woman at a time, one family at a time, one block at a time, one sub at a time. But in time, we can make it work. We can make it happen. I'm building networks. I already got them in place. These people are ready and waiting for you to make the move so that they can educate you so that you are not behind the curve, but you'll be in front of the curve. I'm going to say it almost like TLA. You ain't going to get the game nowhere else on YouTube. They too busy fighting. You ain't going to get this game on nowhere else because they too busy making money off of your dysfunction. I don't want you to be dysfunctional no more. Be renewed by the renewing of your mind, that you will prove what is the good and perfect will of the Father for you and your life and what you want to do. Uncle Stew loves each and every single one of you. And tomorrow, like I said, I will address the elephant in the room. And hopefully we make it kind of short because I got things I got to do that Saturday. Not to put y'all off, but I got some things I got to get done in my own personal life. So just remember, I'll be here tomorrow. We're gonna do one response video and we're gonna be done. But like I said, if you got any problems, any issues, email me. Hit me in the comments. I don't take it personal. If you say, hey, I disagree with you on this, it's all right. Let's show maturity even in our disagreements. Not a bunch of yelling and everybody running back to their platforms and trying to do reaction video. We ain't got to do that. Out of 10 things I say, if you disagree with 2, cool. Tell me your disagreement, explain your disagreement. I don't have a problem changing my mind if you can convince me. Else, we just have 2 things that we disagree with. Let's go ahead and rock with the 8 that we do. All right. Mr. Vaughn, candidate, I really appreciate y'all coming up and being a support and a light and a help, you know, even extending this conversation, giving your thoughts, views, and opinions, you know. And as you know, that voice that tells everybody what to do before they come to the panel is none other than Candidate herself. So, you know, that lets all the women know, like, Uncle Stew uses women around here for the positive. Don't be trying to clip me and say I'm out here doing foolish stuff, because I'm not. But I just want y'all to know I love y'all, appreciate y'all. I thank y'all for rocking.
Thank you.
You know, every time I come up, whether you see it fresh and live or you catch the replay, it's a blessing either way. And I'm glad that I can add value to your life and value to the chat. Y'all don't know. Brown eyes will tell you, 4 o'clock, Uncle Stew is up. Trying to give y'all the game, trying to study, trying to make sure that we all on the same block, same mission, and going to the same way. Because we can do this. We can do this. I know we can. And with that being said, I love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Take care.